Welcome to the Arizona Sunset Podcast, where we focus on senior care, senior issues, and all things senior related.
Life with its sorrow, life with its tear, fades into dreams when I feel you are near. For I love you truly, truly.
That is the sweet sound of a barbershop quartet that we had come sing to the ladies at the Arizona Sunset Assisted Living Facility in Queen Creek on Valentine's Day. I don't know if I enjoyed it less than them. I probably enjoyed it a little bit more. I wanted to include a little bit of the music here in the podcast. Today we speak with Brit Haws, who is a physical therapist and has spent time working for an in-home health care company as well as in a rehab and nursing home. The conversation covers many issues that relate to seniors, so let's begin.
Hey, Dustin, what's up?
Hey, man. Thanks for agreeing to chat.
Yeah, no problem.
So if you want to start by giving a quick background on yourself from small town St. John's to where you are now.
Okay, so I grew up in a small town, 5,000 people, St. John's, Arizona.
Is there really only 5,000 people in St. John's?
Something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think it fluctuates, but I think it's somewhere right around there. And do you want to know any history, like Mormon boy or anything like that? Or
anything that you think contributed to your ending up as a career in physical therapy? I mean, if you think there were things that contributed to it, whether it was faith, serving a mission, anything like that, that kind of maybe someone who, you know, was a leader or someone that guided you to it or gave you the advice, like whatever you think contributed to you end up where you're at today.
Okay. Well, let's see. I've always had an interest in healing, especially natural healing. My dad had a strong background of always using, instead of medications, using more herbs or other naturopathic type of stuff for healing. So I think that I got a good, healthy appetite for that. And then in high school, having an anatomy class, I loved learning about the body. And I think that my faith also contributed to that because, you know, knowing where we come from, why we're here, kind of stuff. I knew that we had a purpose, I guess. And I knew that God created our bodies and how fascinating that was for me. And, you know, even in high school, I remember reading a newspaper. I was a student of the month one month. And even back then, I mentioned then that I might want to do physical therapy or chiropractic or something like that.
And when was this? Elementary?
In high school.
Oh, in high school. Okay, wow.
More in high school, yeah.
Wow.
So that's when I took more anatomy and stuff in high school.
Do you think at that point in high school, was it your dad's influence that kind of was gearing you towards the physical therapy and maybe a chiropractic care as opposed to doctor or something in the more traditional medical field?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, from my dad, I never really got the physical therapy, but I knew that I didn't want to do like medications. You know, I didn't want to focus on medications. So I liked the medical field. Another option that I thought about doing was surgery, but I don't know. I didn't want to do it. I wasn't really interested in a lot of medications, and that's still how I feel today. You know, I'm glad that I don't have to prescribe medications and stuff to people.
Okay. So in high school, then you kind of had this sense, and did you go, at some point you attended NAU, correct?
Yes. Well, I only did one class on campus. Most of my classes were online.
Okay.
Through NAU.
Mm-hmm.
So I got, after served a mission, still was interested in physical therapy, got a job wherever I could after I got married. Was going to school all along, wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to be, still kind of going back and forth between like chiropractic, physical therapy. I got into banking. I actually got an opportunity to be like an assistant manager at a bank.
Oh, wow.
And then I hurt my knee about that time, I think. Anyway, I had to make a decision if I was going to kind of continue in banking or if I wanted to do more what I was interested in. And so I made a decision then. I even quit the banking job, took a pay cut, and went to a nursing home to get more experience in physical therapy there.
Oh, wow. So at that point, how old were you?
At that point, I was married. I was 24-ish.
24, okay. And you had kids at that point or no?
No.
No kids, okay. So you finished your degree at that point, or were you still in school?
No, I was still in school.
Okay, so you were in school and you were assistant manager at a bank, and you'd come home and say...
I was never assistant manager. I was given the option to go there, and then that's when I decided not to take the position. Otherwise, I feel like if I did that, they would have kind of coerced me to stay in banking and keep on climbing up the ladder. And so then I was like, nope, I'm not going to do that.
Well, I imagine the jump down from assistant manager pay to from where you were at, it was a step down, but not as drastic as you kept going up, and it's harder and harder to get somewhere else.
Right, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so talk to me about the nursing home that you went to at 24.
So the nursing home that I went to, the big rehab aspect of it, they had a wing that was specific for rehabilitation. And actually, before I went there, this is how I got to know about this place. While I was taking another anatomy class in college, the Mojave Community College there.
Uh-huh.
I met this girl who was going to get her nursing degree, and this nursing home was helping her pay for her schooling.
Oh, wow.
So then I contacted them, and I asked them if they might be willing to do the same thing for a physical therapist. And they were actually kind of excited because they had a hard time hiring another physical therapist.
Oh, wow.
So knowing that I would still have, I think I had 5 years left of school that I would have to do, they still were interested in doing that. And so they helped me with a little bit of my undergrad stuff, and then they were going to pay for pretty much all of my graduate school to get my doctorate.
Nice.
If I would work for them for 5 years after I was done.
And where was this located? Mojave County, but what town?
This is in Kingman.
In Kingman, okay. Cool. So they helped you out a little bit with the undergrad. They basically, part of the agreement was 5-year contract, and they were going to pay for your doctorate degree in physical therapy.
Yeah.
Good deal. How big was the facility? How many people, like patients or residents or whatever?
120 bed.
Oh, wow, okay.
And they also had another facility that was part of that, a sister facility right next, which was more of the behavioral health. And that was, I think, an 80-bed facility.
So they had 80 for, like, the behavior, mental health, and then they had 120 for skilled nursing, rehab, living, kind of everything. They had all...
Skilled nursing, yeah.
Everything. Okay, and then what kind of activities, or what did you do while you were there? What types of patients did you work with?
My role there, I was a physical therapist technician.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would, we'd see all kinds of people. It was inpatient stuff, so people who weren't safe to go home after a hip replacement or knee replacement or the stroke, Alzheimer's, was more of the behavioral health, and that was not there when I first got there, but it came within a couple of years after being there.
Okay.
So we had a lot of those in the first facility that we had as well before they opened up that other place. Parkinson's, traumatic head injuries, brain injuries, or we even had some young people that were institutionalized because they weren't able to function on their own or anything like that. So
okay. Was there a different program or the way that you work with someone? If someone was rehabbing, say, post-surgery or post-fall, and you're trying to rehab them and, chances are good they'd be able to go back and live on their own, does that look different from a rehab perspective as opposed to someone who needs care like they're permanently, like you're just trying to keep mobility and keep functionality and trying to keep them in the best physical state that you can, but there's little to no chance they'll be able to live on their own independently again? Is there a difference in care what you prescribe for those two situations?
Well, a lot of times insurance is getting different as far as rehab. So for rehab, a lot of times if they're working for something, like to return home, then physical therapy and occupational therapy, speech therapy, stuff like that would be covered. If they're long-term, and then most of the time that type of care is not covered by insurance. So that was a big thing. First, they may get there with the goal of doing that, so then we try to rehab them and get them to the point, and then if they are not able to, then they're not able to continue with physical therapy.
Gotcha. They have a set period of time that, hey, well, you get 90 days or whatever it is, depending on the insurer, what they would cover. But then at some point, either you're better or you're not getting any more services.
Yep.
Okay.
And a lot of times, like I said, that's dictated more by the insurance. And then if there's somebody who's definitely declining, just as part of the clinic or the facility that we worked in, we would try to help them, or we had some different nurses, activity nurses, that would try to get them to activities and other things to encourage them to be active, get them out to do things, not only for physical health, but for mental health, decreased depression and things like that.
Do you have any tricks or tips on how to get that an unrelenting or unwilling senior who might just want to stay at home and not be bothered, and to get them to engage either in your facility, or do they have any takeaways to get them to participate?
I'd say, getting to know the people, know some of their hobbies were and some of what they like to do now. So there's some things that people really want to do.
Yeah.
And so finding out what those are and then trying to incorporate that into different activities, I guess would be...
Yeah, plan the activities that they would want to do.
Yeah. I
also agree with just getting to know them. I think if we get to know, whether it's family members or people that we're serving or working with in our professions or whatever, I think the better we know the people that we are working with or serving,
sure,
we'll be able to know better how much to push them. Because sometimes you can't just push people without really knowing them, because you don't know their limits, you don't know what they're capable of. But I think the more we get to know them, we're able to push them just a little bit, give them a nudge in the right direction without totally ticking them off and making them mad at us.
Yeah, for sure. That's important to know. And that's actually one of the things that I enjoy about physical therapy is you actually get to spend a little bit more time with people. It's not just one time and see them and then they're done or out of your office for a couple months. They're usually coming 2 to 3 times a week. And so you get to know them a little bit more. You get to know if you can joke with them, or if you, like you said, push them a little bit harder, or when they back off just a little bit, or when they're having a bad day, so we're going to take it a little bit easy today.
Yeah, I think it's key. I think that helps. I've had one experience with physical therapy, and I was amazed at how quickly I got back into fighting shape. Not fighting shape, yeah, but you know what I mean? For me, it went from major pain in my knee to, within a month and a half, I was back to being pain-free again. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the nursing home. You were there for 5 more years?
I'm trying to think of how many years. I think I was there for 3 years. Mm-hmm. Then I went to school away for 3 years, and then came back I didn't get accepted to the nurse or the NAU program for physical therapy, and I got accepted to an AP Still University, which was quite a bit more expensive. And so they're like, wait, this is quite a bit more expensive. It's not going to pay as much. We'll pay a percentage.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, well, if you pay a percentage, then let's drop it down to 3 years. And they said, okay. So we worked out a new agreement. And then, so anyway, I went to school for 3 years, came back and worked for them for 3 years, and then that fulfilled my commitment there.
Where's the campus that you went to at? Where is that located?
They're in Mesa.
Oh, in Mesa, okay.
Wrecker and Baseline there.
Is that the same one? They have a dental program too, right?
Yeah, okay. They have dental. It's all just health professions.
Okay, cool. And then you went back up to Kingman for 3 years, and you were basically doing physical therapy either as a tech, and then after you finished your degree as a full physical therapist, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And then after you fulfilled your commitment, did you want to stay in Kingman, or were you looking to move, or what was your plan after that?
No, yeah, that's why we made that deal, so we could leave a little bit earlier, because, Kingman was fine. We had some really good friends there, but not a place where we wanted to raise our family.
Okay.
So we were looking around in the state somewhere where we can, good place to raise our family. And so we decided on Prescott Valley is where we live.
Okay.
And so I came here looking for different jobs and what I was making there and what people were offering me at different places, at a hospital and at a inpatient, what's it called? Acute rehab. It was quite a bit less, and so I didn't want to take a back step with my pay. So the place that I found that was giving me equivalent pay was a home health.
Okay.
So then I worked for home health for a year, and then after that I went to the physical therapy and outpatient center that I'm in now.
Okay. And for why we're doing home health, was that mainly for seniors, or did it cover anyone with needs that required?
It was mostly seniors, and I'd say mostly Medicare, the insurance.
Okay.
But it could have been any insurance, but it was those who were homebound.
And what did you see common among those seniors who were homebound? I mean, what types of ailments or conditions were you treating?
Could have been a number of things. It could have been similar to when they're there for rehab at a nursing home. They weren't quite able to get out and get around after a knee replacement, hip replacement, shoulder replacement, or shoulder surgery. A lot of times they've maybe just had a hospital stay, because of some other sepsis or some other thing where they just really got weak while they're in the hospital. And so then when they went home, they just weren't able to get up and get around on their own. So a lot